Actually, I haven't forgotten to record all semester long, which is a miracle for me. So, all right. So today we're introducing the problems for the exam three. We have the saving for retirement problems that similar to what we had on the first exam, plus mortgage affordability. And there are two important uh, ratios that go along with that. And the front end ratio and the back end ratio. The front end ratio um, only includes the mortgage payment, property taxes, and insurance, and the back end ratio includes all your other debts. So we'll work examples of that at the end of class. So I see I have a typo there. So Heather is 25 years old. She's just started her new job. Her employer offers a 403B. Heather is planning to retire at 65. Her goal is to have $1 million in her 403B when she retires. How much she needs to deposit each month if she owns a 12% APR? So the all right, that's interesting. I guess I have an old version of these problems. So let me do this. So in my example, he's 30. So I apologize. And all right, everything else is the same.
I have a bit of a side question on this, if I may.
Sorry?
I have a bit of a side question on this, if I may, about
Okay.
like future retirement goals.
Yes.
So if you have a particular standard of living and you have a certain income now, how do you, if you want to determine what you need to have in retirement, could you use like a future value formula to try to figure up, like with inflation cost as your sort of to use that as sort of your interest, so to speak, and then would you be able to use that to calculate like what you would need
Exactly.
in the future?
So, yeah, so you're taking what you're putting away and applying rate of return to it, and then calculate it. You'll determine what you have. So, and or you can determine what, in this case, how much she needs to put away each month to meet that $1 million savings goal. So
what I'm asking though is, how do you determine that you need $1 million, in the future? Like
it's you just have to you have to estimate what you think you're gonna need. You gotta take. So for example, if you're taking home $5,000 a month today, you got to assume that it's gonna, if you want to maintain that standard of living, you're going to assume that it's going to grow. That's going to grow at a minimum 3 or 4% a year.
right.
And currently, so that.
So could you use like a present value formula, or a future value formula to say, okay, that you've got 5,000 a month this year, and then you're going to go 20 years till retirement at average, what you call inflation rate of say 3% or whatever. Okay.
Exactly, and then Social Security. You can also do the calculation. Just do it in today's dollars. Like, for example, say, like you get the statement from Social Security tells you in today's dollars what you're going to receive. But again, that's going to be adjusted for inflation, so you don't necessarily have to worry about inflation with regard to that. But you do with regard to your, the rest of what you need. So you see what I'm saying?
Okay, I gotcha.
And so, yeah, it definitely requires some thought. You've got to make sure you're comparing apples to apples. And when you get the statement from Social Security, you probably want to take that value, like I said, and grow it right along with everything else. If you have, if you have military retirement, or disability, they're adjusted for inflation as well. So you'll receive, um, those payments will be adjusted. So it's important to take those things into account. What is, some things aren't adjusted for inflation. Some pensions aren't, some are. So it's really important to understand the details of, you know, of, of the assets that you have. And,
Hmm.
and, Social Security is an asset, the pension plans are an asset, so forth. So,
Okay, got it. Thank you.
okay. So at 30 years, that means that's 35 years till she retires. So, um, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to edit these questions as I work my way through them because I don't know why, but anyway, but IY is 12%. We got to divide it by 12 to make it a monthly rate of 1. There's nothing in the account, so its PV is 0. And then future value is the goal of $1 million. And then we compute payment. So, so if you can earn, if you can, so it's $155.50 a month. So if you can deposit $155.50 a month and earn 12%, at the end of that time, assuming you're not paying taxes, you're going to have $1 million. So, and I would highly recommend doing this kind of saving in a tax deferred account, in your 401k, in your IRA, so forth. Um, uh, the other thing that you can do is, if you have a 401k, 403b, you can roll that out of your previous employer's plan into a rollover IRA, and that way you can you have a lot more flexibility in what you invest in. So you'll have more choices, and you'll probably be paying lower fees, because that's one of the things that employer-sponsored plans typically are guilty of, are very. Okay. So, any questions there?
No, sir.
Okay, so I think, okay, all right. So, all right, so this was 300 and the problem set that the solutions I have. So anyway, so Charlie just finished trade school. He has a new job. His employer offers a 401k with a dollar for dollar match up to 5% of his salary. He's planning to contribute the full 5% of his salary, which amounts to $300 a month. How much will he have in his 401k after 30 years if he earns 6%? So, so, so in 30 years monthly, IY is 6 divided by 12, 6% divided by 12, so that's 0.5. PV again is 0. Now the important part here is so it's a negative, but it's his 300, the dollar for dollar match means that they're going to throw in $300 as well. So negative 600, and then we compute future value, and that is $1,098,000 $446.09. So recall the problem before, we were putting in a whole lot less, but we're earning a whole lot higher rate. And also we were saving for 5 more years. So the length of time and rate are both incredibly important. The you have to take some risk in order to in order for you to benefit from compounding. So that you got so it's like, especially like, think about right now where the inflation rate, sure, great, I can put my money in a savings account and earn 4 or 5%, but the inflation rate for the last year or two has been well above that. And if you want to look at it on your own personal level, your own personal level is a whole lot higher even than what the CPI is telling you. The CPI is the CPI is kind of an imaginary number. So I can assure you that I don't even know what the CPI was for last year, but it was, I guess, Social Security payments went up 9 or 10%. But I can promise you that my own personal inflation rate was a lot greater than 9 or 10%, and I would expect that you would say the same. So, does this make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let me make sure. All right. So my problem, I worked this with 150,000, and then everything else was the same. All right. So Lucy's buying a house. She has a combined annual income of 150,000. Taxes on homes that she wants are approximately 3,600, and homeowners insurance will be approximately 1,800. That's annual. In addition, she currently has monthly car payments of 500 and student loan payments of 300. What is the maximum mortgage payment she can afford with a 28% front end ratio? And how much can she borrow with a 30-year 3% mortgage? You can tell that this question was old because we don't have 3% mortgage rates anymore. So so one of my great fears is that we're going to end up like we did in 2008, where a lot of people figure out that they're underwater on their mortgages and walk away from their homes or default on their loans, so forth. So it's definitely it's definitely a strong possibility. So the part A, so we take the 150,000 and we divide it by 12. You can do the calculation on a gross basis, but it's easier to do on a monthly basis. So that's $12,500. So times 0.28. So the front end ratio. So we got $3,500. So this $3,500 would be her max PITI, okay? Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is what PITI stands for. So, and that's only on the front end ratio, because on the back end ratio, we have to take out the student loan payments, but we don't have to do it here. So 3,500. So the taxes, 3,600. That's annual. So we divide by 12 and we get 300. We're subtracting that. And then the insurance is 1,800. divided by 12, and that's 150. And again, we're subtracting that. So subtracting 450. So that's $3,050, the max mortgage payment. So A and then B over here. So 30-year mortgage, so 30-year monthly. 30 times 12 is 360 months. So it's a 6% mortgage. So 6 years with 6%. We got to divide by 12. We can make it a monthly rate. And then we enter our payment. Enter it as a negative. And then future value is 0. That's just telling the calculator that you're paying the loan off. Then we compute PV. And we get 508,000. Oops, $508,714.42. So if we were to if we were to raise it to a level, you see, I don't know where a normal level, that 508,000 is going to drop considerably. So this I'm doing that. This is I'm doing that. Okay, hold on. All right, I did this wrong here. Sorry. Good thing so this is 3 divided by 12, and that's 0.25. But that number, the 508,714, is based on the all right, no, the 508. No, the 508 is based on 6. All right, apologize. Okay, no, that's okay. Never mind. I'm confusing myself. I apologize. But so 6%, maybe 1% under current rates, something like that. Maybe not quite, but somewhere between 6 and 7% is probably where you would end up on a 30 mortgage. So I apologize. So this is 0.5. Everything was correct there. Shouldn't try to ad lib. No. All right. So apologize. Any questions there? That's all right. So next we'll go to Jerry Jeff. So my calculations are based on 500. So Jerry Jeff is going to start depositing 500 a month into his 401k. At the end of the month, his goal is to save $800,000 by the time he retires at age 60. He's currently 30. What APR does he need to earn to reach his savings goal? So he 30 years monthly, 30 times 12, 360. So the PV is going to be 0. There's nothing in the can of payment. It's the $500. And then future value, it is the 800,000 savings goal. And we compute ROI. And we're going to get 0.70. And that's a monthly rate. So we have to multiply by 12, annualize it, and we get 8.35%. So, don't, if you're putting away, decent, $500 a month, it's not too terribly hard to generate a fairly large sum of money, as long as you start when you're young. I certainly, I didn't in my 20s and even into my early 30s, I didn't make the wisest of financial decisions. I guess we probably could all say that to some extent. All right. Okay. All right. So again, this is 150,000. And this is 5%, 20-year 5%. This is 300. Okay. So, all right. I apologize for having to edit. I have no idea what I did here. But anyway, Charlie and Lucy are buying a house. They have combined annual income of $150,000. Taxes on the homes they want are approximately $3,600. The homeowners insurance are $1,800. In addition, currently monthly car payments of $500 and $300, not $450. So what is the maximum mortgage payment they can afford with a 36% back end ratio? So, and how much can they borrow with a 20-year 5% mortgage? And then what's their maximum monthly principal, interest, taxes, and insurance? So we'll do the calculation for the maximum mortgage payment, and then we'll have to add back taxes and insurance to get maximum PITI. So, all right. So just like we did before, the 150,000 divided by 12 is 12,500. We multiply this by the 0.36, and we get 4,500. We know our taxes were 300, will be approximately 300. Insurance 150. Then we have to include the car, the 500, and then student loan, the 300. Subtract all that, and then you get $3,250. So that's a maximum mortgage payment. So that's A. And so I'm going to go ahead and do B while I'm here. So I add back and insurance. So that's the $450. So the maximum principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, or PITI, $3,700. So what I believe most lenders are going to do is they're going to look at your front end and your back end ratio, and that they're gonna say you're the lower of the two is going to be your max. I don't know that for a fact, but I suspect that is how they do it. So 20-year mortgage. So now how much can they borrow? 20-year mortgage. So 20 times 12 is 240 months. IOI. Okay, that's 5% mortgage. So 5 divided by 12, that's 0.42. And again, that you do the calculation and press IOI, because if you don't, you're going to get a rounding error here. And the payment is $3,250. We calculated rate, mortgage payment, then compute present value, and that's $492,457.27. That is the front end ratio, back end ratio. Then we calculated an APR and we calculated, the first problem was a future value of an annuity. And then we calculated we could had we calculated a payment in the first problem, and then the future value with the dollar for dollar employer match. And then the next one we calculated the APR without an employer match, but with the savings toolkit. But those are the problems that you will see on the third exam. But I highly recommend that you practice. There were a lot of really good grades on the last exam, but there were still a pretty good number of really bad grades, and those really bad grades are usually the result of not being able to work these problems. So it takes practice. I recommend, if you got a little bit of time later this afternoon, work these problems again. And and then wait a few days, work them again, and make sure you're comfortable with the answers. So it can, and when we all get nervous when we get on an exam. So that's all I have for the day. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. So
None for me.